very first episode of Both Sides of the Bed. I'm Kemesha Salmon, and I'll be your host, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a space for honest conversation, the late night kitchen table, those little talks, the tear and laugh, those kind of real life, real mess, real healing, no caption, no filter. It's here. Before we go any further, I want to say something very important. I want to be clear. I'm not a therapist. I am not a life coach. I'm just a woman who lived, loved, learned, and is still growing. Everything I share here comes from personal experience, real conversations, and lessons I've picked up along the way. On this show, we will go deep. We will talk about mental health, grief, marriage, sex, friendships, losing yourself, healing, menopause, divorce, the messy and the beautiful. Some of it will hit home. Some might trigger your memories, pain, or tears. This podcast is not a replacement for professional help. It's a place for truth, reflection, and community. And because we will talk about some very sensitive topic along the way, I'll be bringing in my friend and licensed therapist, Noelle Alaya, from time to time. She has decades of experience and she helps us unpack the deeper psychological pieces with care, expertise, and compassion. If something lands heavy while you're listening, please, I want you to breathe, pause, and if you need professional help, reach out to a professional. I want the tone of this show to be simple, honest, brave, and practical. No shame, no BS, just the work. So you might be asking yourself, why both sides of the bed? Because every story has two sides, sometimes three, but every argument has layers. And the most important, many of us lives our life in one single narrative. The one that makes us comfortable. Don't worry, I'm guilty. Hale will try to see the other side without excusing harm. We'll hold boundaries and also hold space. We'll call out the truth and honor the feelings. That's the essential part of this show. Now, let me walk you through everything this podcast will dig into. I'm not going to gloss over anything. We're going deep from the jump. We'll be talking about family and kids. Family, to all of us, is both the root and the thorn. We're going to talk about parenting when you are tired to the bone. I've been there. About the pressure of always being present while carrying invisible load. Paid work, unpaid emotional labor. Nights up, early morning. We'll cover blended families, step parenting, realities, and how to protect your children emotionally while protecting your own soul. We'll ask hard questions. When does sacrificing for family become self-abandonment? How do you set boundaries with people you love so that the next generation knows healthy relationship standards? We'll bring in stories, mine and guests, of nights feeling hollow, unexpected triumph, and what it looks like to show up without losing yourself. We'll talk about friendships, the good, the heavy, and the freedom of losing people. Let me be blunt here. I have lost friends. And some of those losses, to be honest, were the best decision I've ever made. And they also made them. There's freedom in letting people go who drain you, who refuse to respect your boundaries, who emotionally dump on you and leave you empty. I want to spend time feeling the relief, the grief, and the reclamation. We'll talk about what real friendship looks like: reciprocation, respect, accountability, and what it feels like to slowly realize someone is seasonal. I'll talk about the guilt people feel when they outgrow someone. There's a tendency to apologize for growing, to downplay the pain of cutting ties, to feel like leaving a friendship is disloyal. I reject that crap. You deserve a friend who celebrates you. When you become better, you deserve a friend who to say, you know what? You're right. And I'm sorry. And they're wrong. We need people who you can hold or who can hold us when we fall. And yes, there are friends you will have to release to protect your peace. That decision can feel like betrayal, but more often, it's an act of self preservation and also courage. We'll break down the stigma, the stages, the denial, boundary setting, attempts of repair. I've tried that crap. And then finally, the quiet liberation. They're not for us. We'll also talk about how to deal with leaving when you can, how to communicate, how to choose a season without hatred, and how to leave space for grace. Wait, where it's possible. And we'll get real about people who will call you cold. I've been called cold, but I don't give a damn because I've chose me. They'll call you cold for choosing yourself. That's part of it. We'll name it and we'll move through it. We'll talk about work-life balance or the myth of having it all. Everybody wants the trophy of doing everything. I was one of those people. What if having it all is a lie? We'll discuss structural expectations, personal ambition, and how to refuse burnout. Expect hard conversations about productivity, culture, whether balance is a realistic word or a harmful myth. And a practical shift, saying no to busy as a status, reclaiming our evenings, protecting our weekends, and making choices that feed our peace, your peace, not your freaking resume. We'll talk about marriage and love. Languages, the room, how do I say this? Love languages that have that roommate problem and the meaning of years. This one I'm passionate about because I've heard this crap so much. So many couples measure success by the number of years they've been married. Are you kidding me? Like that number is some kind of medal. Listen, time alone does not equal depth. 10 years, 20 years, living like roommates is not better than 2 years of real intimacy. I want to emphasize this. Hard, hard, hard. The length of marriage is not the same of the quality of marriage. We will dig into why partnership dissolve, roommate shift, emotional labor that's unbalanced, avoiding hard conversations, letting resentment sit like mold, neglecting physical intimacy, and confusing convenience for connection. We'll talk about the small ritual that sustains a marriage, the check-ins, the appreciation, the little things that say, I see you. And we'll call out the lies, the BS. Building numbers in marriage years does not automatically mean you did the work. Sometimes people stay in marriages because it's easier, safer, or because of fear, financial fear. And that's not the reason to romanticize it. It's not. We'll talk about love language, yes, but we'll also talk about the work behind them. Learning to vulnerably ask for what you need. Answering when your partner is in pain and holding tenderness even when it's hard. When a partnership becomes transaction, oh, I did this, you did that, we will name it and figure it out. If repair is possible or if separation respects both people more. We'll be talking about losing yourself and reclaiming identity. At some point, many of us ask, I do the same thing. Who am I when I'm not playing a role for other people? Losing yourself is quiet and slow. It's the small concessions. The I'll do it later. I'm guilty of that. I'll drop my dream for my kids. I'm not doing that anymore. The compromising of boundaries until nothing remains. We'll talk about the grief of rediscovering yourself and the courage it takes to begin again. You do not owe anyone the sacrifice of your essential self. This is so personal. We'll mind this for tools. Rediscovering small joy, starting micro habits, rebuilding confidence, and refusing guilt. We'll also be talking about healing and protecting peace, the spiritual and the practical. Healing is not just therapy, baby, or prayers. It's the daily practice of choosing what's healthy for you. And sometimes protecting your peace means walking away from situations, relationships, or cycles. We'll be real about why that scares people, but why it's necessary sometimes. I'll talk about how healing changed your frequency because it changed mine, and how that can push some people away. Remember, not everyone can handle the healing. That's their problem, not yours. Let them go. We'll also talk about therapy and breaking the cultural stigma. That one hits for me. People still avoid therapy for so many reasons: shame, cost, culture, or the fear of confronting pain. We'll unpack why therapy is not about being crazy. It's about being honest and brave. That's why Noelle will be on our podcast. She'll help us translate therapy, speak into real life, how to ask for help, what therapy can realistically do, and how to find a therapist who fits you. We will normalize getting help. And another topic we'll be talking about is the roommate phase. That phase, how to notice it and what to do. You might be living with someone who doesn't know how to love you. Not because they're mean, please understand that, but because they never learned to be intimate. We'll discover the red flags and the repair work. Sometimes the relationship can be repaired with intentions. Sometimes it's time to stop romanticizing. What used to be needs to go. We'll name the behaviors that kill connections: passive aggression, silent punishments, and lack of curiosity about each other. We'll go into it all. And my favorite one will be becoming your best self, losing people along the way. This is the hard truth. When you grow, some people can't keep up. They might resent you for becoming something they didn't expect or they can't be. I've been there. We'll talk about keeping your circle small but loyal, about the losses that sting, and the relief that can follow. Growth is a revision of who you used to be. That revision is worth the price. I'll tell you something. Losing people was my graduation. Next, we'll talk about jealousy and envy. That quiet poison, baby. Jealousy eats quietly, and it disguises itself as friends, concern, or truth telling. But reality, it's fear. We'll call it out. We'll talk about it. The healthy responses. And we'll set boundaries with people who smile when you fail. Envy shows up in family, friendship, marriages. We'll name it. We'll expose it and strategize it. Ways to protect yourself from the sneaky people who root for your downfall. And trust me, I've been there. Because they're still there, but I don't pay them their mind because they could never be me. Next, we'll talk about menopause and working out. This is for women in their 40s, 50s, 30s too. Even younger women who want to prepare for menopause and the premenopausal years. It changes a lot. Your sleep, hormones, metabolism, mood, your joints, and energy. It can shake your relationship to the core with your body. We'll go deep here. How to reframe working out when your hormones changes. How strength training, I love strength training. That has helped me so much. Strength training becomes essential. Why cardio alone won't cut it anymore. The importance of recovery and sleep. And how to adjust expectations around weight and performance without swallowing shame. We'll talk about pelvic floor work, bone health, and how small, consistent choices, resistant work, protein, sleep, hygiene, and yes, checking in with your doctor protect you long term. Most importantly, I'll say this with love. Your body is not your enemy. It's a map of every story you've lived. We'll talk about honoring your body through the changes and not punishing it because I did. And because this is sensitive, we'll bring in another expert on a future episode to speak clinically about hormones and the mindset and support. The next topic we'll be talking about, the D word. Divorce, the conversation people whisper about. But we will call it the D word because sometimes it feels like the one word that makes people gasp. Divorce is messy and it's grief. It's also sometimes the right answer. We'll unpack the stages, shame, anger, relief, and possibility. We'll not sugarcoat the pain, especially when kids are involved. We'll also dismantle the stigma that divorce is the moral failure, because it's not. We'll talk about co-parenting logistics and emotional safety. We'll talk about how to tell your kids in age-appropriate ways how to handle the family who wants to save the marriage for parents. And and how to rebuild your life without shame. If safety is threatened, whether emotional or physical, leaving is not betrayal, it's survival. Practical pieces will be discussed: therapy, financial planning, legal counsel, and community support. But the most important piece: you are not less of a person for choosing peace. And don't let anyone tell you differently. We'll also be talking to kids about sex. Your kids. Conversations parents avoid. This one few parents feel ready for. And I get it. We grew up with silence and shame. Not here. We'll teach practical, age appropriate ways to talk to kids about bodies, consent, relationship, and sex. Some quick guideposts we will expand later. Early childhood, that's between like ages 3 and 7. The correct names for your body parts, yep. Privacy, and the idea that their bodies belong to them. Teach them to tell a trusted adult if something makes them uncomfortable. And also to our preteens, 8 to 12. Basic puberty changes, boundaries, and the difference between private and public. Encourage questions. Avoid overreaction. Also, our teens, 13 plus, consent, contraception, healthy relationships, online safety, pornography, emotional intimacy. These are ongoing conversations, not one speech. We'll normalize awkwardness, give parents phrase to use, and talk about how to bring values into conversation without shaming, curiosity. If you're the kind of parent who thinks someone else will teach them, I'll tell you bluntly, if you don't, someone will, and you may not like their version. Choose to be the safe source for your children. And the next topic is my favorite: pleasing your partner in bed. Ooh, I love that. Breaking the stigma around intimacy and learning each other's needs. We don't talk about this enough. Or when we do, it's behind closed doors, wrapped in shame, jokes. I don't joke about pleasing my husband or whispers. But intimacy is lifeblood of many relationships. And yet, for some couples, it's the most neglected part. Why? Why? We'll break down the myths that it's only about frequency, that one size fits all, or that long-term partnership should just know what the other person wants. No. The truth is, great intimacy takes curiosity, vulnerability, and honest conversation. I ask my husband all the time, what makes him happy? What turns him on? We learn each other's body every day, every year. We'll discuss how life phrases, kids, stress, health, changes, aging can alter. That one is a tough one because aging can alter desire and connection. And honestly, pretending everything is fine can silently kill a relationship. We'll talk about learning your partner's needs without judgment, how to express your own without fear of rejection, and how to turn awkwardness into closeness. We'll address the emotional side of intimacy, trust, feeling desired, and breaking through body images struggle. And yes, we'll get into the practical: scheduling sex without killing the mood, exploring together safely, and understanding that physical connection is often a reflection of emotional connection. The goal isn't just better sex, it's building a space where both partners feel seen, heard, and wanted. I love to feel wanted because intimacy isn't just what happens in the bed, it's how you look at each other when no one else is watching. It really is because I love that. I love when my husband does that. And I try my best to make sure he also feels seen. Each episode will be conversational. I'll open up with a short personal story. Then we'll unpack the topic, bring in practical tools, and sometimes a specialist like Noelle will join, to give clinical perspective. I want honest questions from you, the audience. I want letters, voice notes, real stories. We might read some on the air too, anonymously, of course, and we'll respond. We'll use laughter and tears. We'll sit with discomfort and walk through it. I want to be real. I'm not scripted. I am married. I have kids. I have loved people who left me. I've had nights where I wondered if I made the right choices. I've chosen myself and I've paid a price for it. I have also stayed when staying was necessary, and healing was also practical. I have been judged. I have judged myself. This podcast pulls from those experiences and from the wisdom I've gained through community and faith and my own experience. I'll tell my story, not to make myself into a hero. I'm here like being emotional, but to make it a safe space for you to find truth. I promise to be honest and to hold you to a higher standards as well, to love hard and to refuse nonsense. I will ask you to do the same. This is not a space for gossip, so if that's what you came for, please leave. It's not a space for tearing people down or for celebrating cruelty. We hold people accountable here. We will not normalize abuse or minimize pain, but we will also not weaponize guilt against healing. On the next episode, we get practical and raw. What happens when you're constantly showing up for your family and friends and you're running on empty? That one hits home because that used to be me. Still me sometimes. And yes, Noelle Alaya will be joining us on that episode to help us discover burnout, guilt, and how to rediscover ourselves while caring for our families. We'll talk about coping, boundaries, muscle building, and what to do when the people you love don't understand your limit or don't care. This is both sides of the bed. It's for people who are done pretending everything is perfect and are ready to do the work. It's for people who want to protect their peace without becoming cold. It's for the ones who will show grace and the ones learning how to. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Share it with a friend who needs to hear a different way of thinking. Send me your stories, your questions, your confusion. I will read them on here. I want this to be a conversation, not a lecture. I've done enough of those. I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank you for choosing to be brave. And I hope to see you on the next episode of Both Sides of the Bed with Kemesha.